Hello, and thank you for joining us in yet another episode of Greetings from the Pierview, filmed right here at the Pierview restaurant in Onset, with me, your host, Queen Banda of WCTV, and
George Chidi.
And today we are joined by the women from the Mattapoisett Women's Club. So the Mattapoisett Women's Club is here to talk about their civic and philanthropic programs. Now, Kathy, you and I met almost 2 years ago.
I know.
I reached out to you because I was very interested in learning more about the Mattapoisett Women's Club, what it was, the work you do, and I was quite impressed by the intriguing history and the work that you do for the community, such as the scholarship, town improvements, to activism and volunteer work.
Oh, yes.
So it's such a treat to be with you here again.
Thank you.
2 years
Thank you.
later.
I know it. And we have more to tell.
And we have more to say, yes. So let's start with, who are the women in the Mattapoisett Women's Club?
Well, the majority of us are now retired. We did have a few members that work, but it's difficult. You don't know what you're getting into because there's so much to do.
There's so much to do. It's almost like you're taking on another full-time job,
yes,
isn't it?
It can be.
Yes.
It can be. It can.
Now, the club has been around since 1941,
Yes,
right?
1941,
so
it was incorporated.
77 years later.
Yes.
How has it changed over time, with the factors like economy, social pressure, whatever? How did all these factors change the dynamic of the club?
Well, we did have a lot of changes through the years, but because of the strength of the club, it's managed to stay alive for that many years. But the goals were still the same. We kept with the civic, we followed through with civic, we donated many things to the town of Mattapoisett, and we also did philanthropic works. And again, we donated lots. We figured we'd given out over $100,000 scholarships in the life of our club.
Well, we'll be touching upon some of these philanthropic activities and fundraisers that the club is hosting and will be hosting throughout the year.
Yes.
So let's start with the garden tour.
Oh, okay.
Okay, tell us about the garden tour.
Well, we're very excited about the tour this year. We've got 9 gardens.
Okay.
And they all have their personality. They're very different, all of them. There's 3 that are on the water that'll look out on the east, west, and I think south onto the harbor, and then out to Buzzards Bay. And then we have some in the village.
Now, one of the events I noticed that you do in town, you host scholarships for local people of the town and seniors and things like that. I noticed you pick 2 winners every year, seniors going into college, and you pick one person who's re-entering college who may have graduated and is continuing their education. Can we talk a little bit about that and maybe how you pick people, how local people could apply for that?
For the re-entry?
For the re-entry.
Okay. Really, they've been just to write a letter to the Women's Club or call somebody that's on the scholarship committee. Right, Lois? Yeah. And then usually I found a lot of the old applications for this. We're going to be rewriting a lot of applications and the bylaws and stuff for it for next year. But usually we just ask them to write about themselves and what they're going back to school about, and then when they come and talk to the scholarship committee, they'll ask them more questions.
Yes. So let's move on to something delicious. I'm a big fan of food. So we have the Taste of Town fundraiser.
Right.
Lois, tell us more about what people will be tasting.
From like clam chowder, crab cakes, pizza, assorted wraps, summer salad, mini lobster rolls, cookies of course, kale soup, a mac and cheese dish, ice
and I
cream.
think that's with lobster, the mac and cheese.
One is and one isn't.
Oh, okay.
Shrimp cocktail, magic bars, which are absolutely fantastic. And crab from Ying Dynasty, they gave us crab rangoon, or chicken fingers, a choice.
So are all these from restaurants or
Restaurant.
people are submitting their own?
These
Okay.
are the restaurants in Mattapoisett.
Yes.
Those people doing business there. And the tastes run from, it's a ticket system, and they run from $1, which would be 2 tickets, up to 10 tickets, which represents $5.
Yeah.
And all the way in between. It's such a fun event. People come, and unfortunately, they stay. We really want to turn over people,
Yes.
but they stay. They're just having a good time, socializing with family and friends. And for 10 years now, the Showstoppers have provided me with entertainment. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I
the
am.
musical group. So and they will be there again this year.
Thank you very much for sharing, Lois. It sounds like such a delicious event, and
It's a
I would
wonderful-
love to be there.
Wonderful event. Do come.
Yes.
It's a wonderful event.
Absolutely. I will never pass up food.
No. There is something new that the club has adopted, a new activity, right? And that is the Bells of Remembrance.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Tell me more about why the club decided to adopt this historical event in the town.
Yes. Well, it all started with one of our club members, Mary O'Keefe, and she tells the story beautifully, and I hope I do justice. But she and her family were up in Montreal in the fall, and they were actually doing, she had 4 children, and they would, I guess, incorporate it as a vacation and a shopping trip for school supplies and clothes and that. And she was in a store, and she heard this announcement come out over the PA system and said that the moment of silence will start in 5 minutes. And so she looked around, and people started scurrying and getting things to pay for, got down elevators. They stopped everything. The whole city, I don't know if it's all throughout Canada that they do this. I have a feeling it is. And everything stops, escalators, elevators, there's nothing. Traffic stops, people stop on the streets. And it's just beautiful. So on our Veterans Day is actually the Armistice Day, that when the armistice was signed, the treaty was signed at the end of World War I, and to end all war on land, sea, and air. And when they signed the treaty, it was on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, and the bells rang 11 times. So that's what we did. And we even had Tabor Academy, the chancellor, had seen the pamphlets that were out and asked if they could volunteer their bells, and they did. So it was very nice. It was Marion, a few places in Marion, Fairhaven, even out in Westport, a church in New Bedford, Rochester, and Mattapoisett. And I think to get 16 together in a short time.
And how did you organize it? So where did this moment of silence took place?
If people wanted to go to the sites where the bells were ringing, they could. And if they're like in the village, they probably heard it. But we need more advertising to let them know what's happening, and things have to stop for that.
And what it means.
And what it means.
Yeah. Now, what is your goal moving forward? I know you have talked about, you have reached out to other communities away from Mattapoisett.
Well, if it's up to Mary, it's going to be across the country.
Yes.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah.
She really. So we're going to site on New Bedford because there are a lot of churches with bells, and it's like how to do it. That's we're still floundering with that.
Well, it's a wonderful historical memorial program in which I hope that one day we'll see that the whole country observes it as how she saw it in Canada.
Yeah.
Because that would be quite a chilling moment.
But we're very excited about it.
Yes. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Lois, for coming and to being in our show.
Oh,
Is
we
there
enjoyed it.
Anything else you want to add that we did not touch upon?
Do I have a minute to
You
talk
do
about?
have a minute.
Okay. Our pie sale will be coming up on Harbor Day week, and that's another fundraiser. We can raise up to $1,000 or more just with the pies, and we do baked goods too.
Well,
That's what they'll
it beats
do.
taking a pie from a grocery store. That's
Yes,
for sure.
that's sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you again to our guests, Kathy and Lois from the Mattapoisett Women's Club. Please join them down at the Taste of Town or the Garden Tour or the Pie Festival or any events that are coming up this summer. We look forward to seeing you there. I'm your host, George Cheney, and
closing episode 3 of Greetings from the Pierview, filmed right here at the Pierview restaurant. I am Queen Banda of WCTV. Join us next for next episode, where we're going to have Mr. Sandman, our famous sand sculptor, right here in Onset Beach. That will be all next week. Thank you and have a pleasant day.